So today I am joined by the Darts Referee. In my opinion, and well, probably factually actually, probably the most popular darts YouTuber there is around. He's been going for a while now. I've watched him for probably a couple of years now. So it's great to have you on, Jack. Thanks for joining me. How are you?
I'm very good, mate. Thank you very much for the kind words. I appreciate it.
No problem. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on. Like I said, I've been watching you for a long time now, and when uh, when I messaged you to see if you would come on, I was expecting you to go, "Oh, I'm busy or I can't make it," but it just shows what a nice guy you are by coming on and chat with me. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, mate.
That's all right. I've always got time for things like this, so it's fun for me. I do quite enjoy this sort of thing.
Good, excellent. Yeah. So if you don't know, Jack already, Jack's YouTube is the Darts Referee. He's also on TikTok, Instagram. You on Instagram as well? You
Yeah, I'm
all
on
over?
Instagram. I'm rubbish at everything except for YouTube. I'm good at YouTube and Twitter, and I need to like learn Instagram and TikTok, but I am on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen recently you've tried to up your game a little bit on TikTok. You've posted a few more videos in there, which is good. But yeah, they're completely different platforms, aren't they? YouTube and TikTok. There's so much different in terms of what you can post and what interactions you get with people. I think it's.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried to up my YouTube Shorts game, which in turn is just free uploads to TikTok.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
all I'm doing is I'm making shorts and then just posting them on TikTok.
yeah, yeah. So without further ado, let's get to know Jack a little bit better. If you don't already know Jack, I've got a few random questions. I don't know if you've seen the previous podcast I've done, but I've got a few random questions. Hopefully, catch you off guard, and then we'll get into yourself and your life in more detail. Okay, so first question we've got for you, Jack, is if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
Dubai,
Yeah,
without 1,000,000% Dubai. Yeah,
yeah.
my brother and my sister both live over there. I've been over 2 or 3 times, and it's just the greatest, the greatest place in the world. I've just never experienced anything like it. If I could live over there on like the amount of money that I earn over here and be fine, I'd do it. But it's a bit more of an expensive country, so I'd have to sort
Nice.
of up my wage a little bit to survive over there. But I'd love to live there. It's so good.
So yeah, everyone go and follow, subscribe to Jack on YouTube so he can make loads of money with Dubai. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question then, let's leads on nicely, is who is your favourite YouTuber and or TikToker?
So I think a lot of people would expect me to say some dart person, but it's just not. I've got so many like favorite YouTubers. There are people who I will religiously watch every single time they upload, and I watch so much YouTube. I don't watch a lot of TikTok. If I'm going to say TikTok, I've got to go the pool guy
Yeah,
because he's
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
so uh like it's just nice to watch. It's that aesthetically pleasing video
yeah,
of him just cleaning pools.
yeah.
But YouTube, there's loads of people. I watch Colin Furze a lot. He's currently building a tunnel under his house, and I can't stop watching them videos. I watch a lot of like science-based videos, like educational stuff. And yeah, there's a guy called Stuff Made Here. I watch all of his videos. He just builds stuff, and it's like really interesting to watch. And then yeah, there's just so many people. I watch a lot of Pokemon
Oh really?
videos as well. So people who play Pokemon games. Yeah, that's probably my biggest watch on YouTube. Yeah, I'm
I
a
was
bit
ac-
of a Pokemon nerd, to be honest.
I was actually just watching your recent video from YouTube, the Aldi dartboard, about 10 minutes ago, and I noticed your Charizard bank card.
My bank card.
So
Yeah,
cool, so cool. So cool. Okay, next question. We've got one more quick question, and then we'll get more into yourself. So, um, I believe you're a tree surgeon still. Is that right? Am I right in saying that?
I was
You was.
until we had the baby, and
Okay.
now I'm full time on YouTube.
Oh,
So
brilliant.
I had 2 weeks off for paternity, and then I thought to myself, I don't really want to go back. I'm quite enjoying this, so I decided to go full time on YouTube.
Love
That
that.
was 12 weeks ago. I'm still out of my overdraft, so we're doing all right
Yeah.
at the moment. We're surviving. It is a dull period of the year for darts, but if I can survive now, I can survive the rest of the year. So yeah, it's going really well.
Do you find that obviously I'm new really to YouTube itself and also really TikTok, but um, I found that around the World Championship, especially the Littler effect, obviously darts was big on TikTok, and I guess it was on YouTube. Do you find that through the year it sort of dies off, then picks up towards the end, towards the Worlds again, or is it a case of just sort of trying to get as much content out as you can in them peak times to sort of
Yeah. So I've never really taken YouTube seriously up until probably December last year. But the first time I thought, right, I need to like actually take this a bit seriously and try and turn it into something, because it was always a hobby, and it was always spending money on top of whatever I earned at my normal job. But this year I started taking it really seriously. So I'm a bit annoyed that I didn't take it seriously like 3 4 years ago, sort of when my channel started doing bits. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the channel goes when I'm putting like maximum effort into it
yeah,
on like the peak time. So like December, January, February, those 3 months are always the best on my channel. My videos do way better than them months, but it's not till this year that I started taking it semi seriously. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to like end of this year and start of next year, just to see what's actually achievable if I actually try this time during
yeah,
like the peak
yeah,
times of darts. So
yeah,
yeah, hopefully it's like significantly better
yeah,
than it has been before. But yeah, even when I'm not trying, even like when it was a hobby and a sort of like a thing that I'd do once or twice a week, like December, January, February, the views are like 3 times as much as the
yeah.
rest of the months comfortably.
That's I think a lot of people don't that don't make any content don't realise that with a lot of especially sports like darts, when you've got the peak times, they don't realise that because if you're not really into darts, you only really watch darts when the big events are on, and that's obviously when the biggest audience is there because everyone's watching darts, everyone's searching it for on YouTube as how to get better at darts. Everyone picks up darts, don't they, at Christmas and as a throw and wants to get better, so looks at how to get better, what boards to buy, all the tips and tricks and everything. But I think a lot of people don't really know that, and I didn't really know that till I started making stuff on TikTok. That it sort of fizzles off in the middle of the year when the bigger darts events aren't really on. And even when you've got like the World Cup of Darts and stuff on, the bigger events like match play and stuff, still doesn't really do much really. Then I think it's just the worlds people are interested in as non-darts
Yeah,
fans.
definitely. 100%, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that brings us on to this question. One final quickfire question for you. These not been quickfire at all, have they? We've been 7 minutes. Um, so if you weren't a YouTuber now, and you weren't previously a darts referee or tree surgeon, what would you be doing? What would your job be, or what would your dream job be?
Um, I don't know. I don't know about my dream job. I've never really had a dream job. I mean, to be fair, my dream job was to be a YouTuber.
Yeah,
I've had a YouTube channel since I was like 16, 17 years old, and they've never worked up until this one. So I've always wanted to do YouTube. But if I was just, I don't really say, so I guess that is my dream job. But if I wasn't to do any of that stuff, and I was to say what would be a realistic job that I would have liked to have done if I'd have like gone back to college and stuff, I'd have liked to have been like a barber or like a hairdresser.
yeah,
I don't know what it is about it. I was always interested in it. Unfortunately, I haven't got any hair anymore, but it was always something that interested me. Like, and not just barbering, like doing like women's hair and stuff. And I was always like I was always good at like doing my mum's hair and my sister's hair, and it was quite interesting to me. But I never pursued it, never did anything about it. But yeah, I'd say something along those lines probably would have been realistic if I hadn't done or taken the decisions that I did to do tree surgery and then YouTube.
yeah, yeah. That's nice. It's a different answer. Normally you get things like professional darts player or footballer or something like that. But it's nice. It's actually a realistic job as opposed to something that you probably never achieve. But you could go out still and go be a barber if you wanted to be a barber. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I could do. Yeah,
but that could be
yeah,
something.
it does interest me
That could be
doing that
a
sort of
new
stuff.
a new channel for you from zero barbering skills to elite barber. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm hopefully filming a video in the next couple of weeks with Ryan Meikle, and he is a barber,
Oh, cool.
so yeah, maybe he can we can do like a crossover thing
Yeah.
where he shows me how to play darts. Oh, he can show me how to play darts and show me how to cut hair.
Yeah. Excellent. Nice. Nice. So let's go back to the start and let's talk about obviously your YouTube channel is the Darts Referee. I know you've covered it a lot on your YouTube in the past. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and stuff, but what was the a lot of people that have seen you might already know this, but for people that haven't seen you, what was the reason for you getting into darts refereeing?
I was just good at the numbers. I've never really been that good of a dart player. Like my peak in darts is probably like a 72 average or something. Like I got to an okay standard, but I didn't maintain it for more than like 6 months, and then with dartitis happening every couple of years for me, yeah, it didn't last very long. But I've always been good at the numbers side of things, and I just got to a point. I was only probably like 13, 14, where I got to the point where I'd had dartitis already at that age, and I'd kind of accepted in my own head that I was never going to be a professional player because all of the youth players who I was playing county youth with and stuff, although I might have been better than them when I was like 11, 12, they all just completely overtook me when I was like 13, 14. And I think I've always been quite realistic. And I did kind of like, even at that young age where everyone's like, oh, I want to be a professional this, I want to be a professional that, I kind of just accepted. I'm probably not. I just don't have it. I don't have it in my
Yeah,
head to do that at a standard that I want to be able to do it in. But I can do the math side of things really well. So it's always been something that I wanted to do, was just to be like the caller or the marker on the stage instead of the player, which it's like imagine asking a 12-year-old kid who plays football week in, week out, who would want to, do you want to be the referee?
yeah,
And they'd be like, no, why would I
yeah,
want to do that? I want to be the player. But I was just kind of different. I wanted to be the referee. I wanted to do that that side of things. So yeah, I got to like 17 years old. Spoke to a guy at a Steve Beaton exhibition about marking because he was one of the markers at the time, and he said, "Yeah, come down and we'll try you out." And then that was, yeah. So I went down when I was 18. A few months after that, and I just, yeah, become a darts referee. I did it for nearly 6 years,
yeah.
and then, yeah, and then decided to do YouTube and thought I'll do a darts channel.
So what was the path from going from that exhibition to then getting into the PDC? How did that sort of transition happen?
So it's not as like glamorous and fancy as you might think. I think nowadays it'll be a little bit different, but back then I think the PDC only had, so they would have 16 boards at a tournament back then, and they only had 7 people who were turning up week in, week out to voluntary mark. So 9 out of the 16 boards would have been self-marked boards. So when I was interested in, when I first started in 2012, they were just looking, they just wanted people to come and do it. Like as long as you weren't rubbish, as long as you could count, they would have you on. So I turned up to an event, um, and they paired me up with one of the markers who'd been there for a little while, and we just marked a board together. So we'd do all alternate matches, and the guy just watched me to make sure that I wasn't rubbish, or if he had to step in because I was messing up someone's score so bad. But yeah, so it was just like, oh yeah, you can do it. That's fine. Come and join us, and that was it. So it wasn't really like anything fancy or anything glamorous. I didn't have to do any interviews. I just had
Yeah,
to prove that I wasn't rubbish at marking. I was a decent enough standard that I wasn't going to influence or change the outcome of matches really, by making loads of mistakes. And that was it. It was as simple as that. And then I turned up every month for the next 5.5 years. Ended up going to Ireland. I was the only marker who went to Ireland, and like for the pro tours there and stuff. I got to the point where I was marking at least one final a weekend. I was marking the stream boards every single weekend, and yeah, and then I just sort of had enough one day, and I stopped doing it. But
yeah.
yeah, that's kind of like how it all happened, really.
Do you remember your first game you marked in the PDC?
Yeah, it was Michael Barnard against Dennis Ovens. I remember everything about it. I remember thinking, like, I didn't know who Michael Barnard was, and I obviously knew who Dennis Ovens was back then, 2012, and I kind of walked into the Pro Tour thinking, well, the top 30 players in the world who I know, they're going to be the ones who win everything, and they're going to be the best players. And like, there's no way Dennis Ovens loses to Michael Barnard because I don't know who he is. But then you soon realise that they're all very good. It's just you've not heard of everyone. So anyway, yeah, Michael Barnard went 4-0 up on Dennis Ovens. Dennis brought it back to like, I think he went 5-4. I think he went 5-4, and then Ovens wanted 1-3-5, and he turned to me, and this is the first game I've ever marked, He turned to me and he goes, "If I hit this, then great. If I miss this, I'm going for a piss now." Like mid game, and I'm like, I don't know, is that allowed? Are you allowed to go to the toilet mid games? Like thrown in the deep end. Anyway, he missed tops to the 1-3-5, and then he just left. And then Michael Barnard threw his 3 darts, went out, and it was 5-5. And I'm like, I've got no idea what's going on. Like, I don't know if this is allowed. I don't know if anything is like okay. Anyway, he goes for a piss, comes back, and yeah, he ended up losing. He lost in the last leg decider after wandering off. But yeah, that was proper like baptism of fire. I had no idea what to do or how to handle the situation. I just kind of like let him do his thing because I don't know the rules.
So,
I don't know if you're allowed to leave mid match in a pro tour or what.
so
So it was a bit of a mad first game to mark.
we just sort of stood there to wait for him to come back. Just
Yeah, I was
yeah,
like, I just don't know. And yeah, and then I like Michael Barnard was like, "Am I allowed to throw in between legs while he's gone?" And I was like, well, I guess so. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you you can't throw darts at the moment when your opponent's just gone to use the toilet. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was just a bit mad.
that's
Like
crazy.
first game ever marked was a 11 leg like massive game with a pee break in the middle, and yeah, just
That's
mental.
crazy. So, like you said, not many people aspire to be a darts referee, but if there's anyone watching this that does want to be a darts referee, any advice you'd give them? What's a few tips you'd want to give to someone that's looking to join the PDC as a mark? Anything you would say?
To be honest, so I finished marking what's just like 6.5 years ago. I think it was now. I think it was like 2018. I think I stopped. So I don't know the ins and outs or how anything works nowadays. And as far as I'm aware, I mean the markers are filling up like challenge tour weekends now. And like back then, we couldn't even fill half the boards on a pro tour weekend. So I would imagine there's a big long list of
Yeah,
people to sort of get through. So I don't really know how it works. I'll just say just find an email of someone
yeah,
in the PDC and just bug them until they say come along,
yeah.
really, or give you some advice or whatever. So I don't really know nowadays, to be honest.
I think from my view, not that I didn't really watch darts in 2012 to be honest with you. So, but I've seen older videos on YouTube of players, and obviously it was all done. It was literally all marked on whiteboards, wasn't it back then? Obviously now they're
Yeah.
all on Darts Connect and all on iPads and stuff. So I think the marking itself has become a lot easier because you haven't really got to do the maths. You just literally doing the subtraction of the
Yeah,
score.
to an extent. I mean, I've always one thing I've always been able to pride myself on is I've got the neatest handwriting you've ever seen, and that was something that everyone always said, and that was kind of like that was like my little signature thing. So when I was trying to become like a TV marker, I was like, there's like 4 or 5 other people who are perfect markers. They will never make a mistake. Like, I would never make it. I'd never make a mistake. But there were other people who were also that good who would never ever make a mistake. So I kind of thought, well, the only way I can like show a bit more skill than them is to write the numbers a lot neater.
Yeah,
That was it. So yeah, I'd like practice my handwriting, just to make sure that it was like every time I wrote a number, it was perfect. So I always prided myself on how good my handwriting was. But then when the iPads come in, so the Dart Connect stuff, it is the greatest system that has ever happened to darts. But as a marker, it's boring. It
yeah,
becomes boring because it's almost like your job that you've practiced, it's just been taken away from you. And I made more mistakes. I only marked 2 Pro Tour weekends with the iPads. I made more mistakes in those 2 Pro Tour weekends than I did in 5.5 years with a pen and a whiteboard.
yeah,
And it's because I just didn't. I was like bored because
yeah,
it wasn't a skill anymore.
yeah.
So it
Yeah.
kind of like I felt like that had been taken away from me a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that completely. It's strange, actually. Obviously, when you
Oh, have I?
see,
Hold on.
go ahead.
You still there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I lost you there for a second. It
Oh,
all
okay,
froze.
oh, good.
What was the last thing you heard?
Um, you made a couple of mistakes on your iPad for the last two Pro Tour events. So I think I got it. I don't think I missed anything.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, so
we're
that
all
was
good.
about the end. It all just froze and you started whirring on my screen.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll edit that bit out. I'll be all right. So yeah, I
Mm.
mean, Yeah, and I think it's strange actually. I do wonder this when you're watching the darts on TV. They still obviously have the main caller, the referee, and then the two people who decide marking on paper, on either paper or whiteboards, whatever. Still, and it's what do you think? Do you think that'll ever change? Do you think they'll get rid of the pen and paper marking because it just seems a bit old fashioned to me?
It does, but I hope they don't because it's still a skill. I think it looks better on the stage to have three people up there, one marking each game and one calling. And the other thing is, it's like if you're going to use if you're going to use an iPad, as soon as you get to like the level of chalking that the people on the stage are, the iPad will malfunction before the chalker makes a mistake.
Yeah,
Like without a doubt. Like the battery will die, or the screen will die, or the touchscreen will stop working, or like something like that will happen before a very good marker will make a mistake. So I like it. I hope they keep the markers, and it seems like they will because they're always bringing in new people, and you see new markers all the time. So
yeah,
yeah, I do hope they keep it though.
yeah.
I think it just looks better as well.
I think as well, if you're not really, when you're watching the darts, you don't even really notice the markers. You see them there, like in the back shot, but they're never actually in camera. Rather, really, they're just in the background doing the score. Then when they do a little cutaway, you might see them. But I assume a lot of people that are not huge fans of darts won't even sort of notice them there and see what they're doing. You notice the main referee, but
Yeah.
you just don't really take any notice of them. I think, and people don't understand that these people that are marking these games are really good markers. Obviously, they've got to be at that level. And I watch a lot of the Pro Tour stuff, either live or on YouTube. And obviously, these are the ones that referee in the finals and stuff in the Pro Tour events. So they are like the elite, but you only see the main caller, like the main ones that everyone's aware of. And it's
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
and yeah. So yeah, it's crazy, really. So going back to your times on the Pro Tour, I'm not going to go about this not going to go on about this for too long, but I know you've covered a few of these bits before on your YouTube channel as well. But um, who did you enjoy marking? Not enjoy marking? Any problems you had with certain players, or anything you thought was made it easier for you in terms of what players were good and bad to mark?
I always enjoyed marking anyone who was quick. If there was two games or two players playing each other who were both particularly quick, I just found it like being that maths darts nerd person that I was. It was like it was a challenge for me to mark for like someone who was quick and would go weird routes, and then you'd like try and just do it as fast as possible. It's so nerdy, like so nerdy. But I used to really enjoy anyone who was quick. And then there were a few players who were like the most difficult to mark. The two players who were the most difficult to mark for was Jamie Caven and Yella Klassen. Those two players, Jamie, he's quick, but he's not like crazy quick. He's not like Klassen quick, but he would choose weird routes all the time. Like he'd just throw random trebles all the time, or he'd go bullseye a lot. And the same with Klassen really. Again, very fast player, chooses weird routes. So you've got to be proper like on your toes, and you've got to try and think like a dart or two ahead of where they're going to go potentially. So you've always got like these options in your head of where they're going to go, and he's like, let's say they've thrown one dart and they want like 84. For the 99% of players, I'm thinking, well, it's a treble 20 for double 12 because that's where they're going to go. But then Klassen and Jamie Caven, they might go treble 16. They might even go the bullseye. They might go double 17. It's like you don't know where they're going to go with their next dart. So you've got to kind of like prepare yourself for them, particularly on where they're going to throw their next dart. Players who I didn't like marking for, there weren't really anyone who I didn't like marking for. I wasn't a massive fan of marking for Dimitri Vandenberg, but that was just because, like, you know what he's been doing recently, where he's been like slowing the games down.
Yeah,
So there was a big time where he didn't do that, but back in like 2015 or something, that was when he used to do it a lot. So I used to just get bored because he'd take forever at the table to have a drink, and like sometimes three darts would take for ages, and I'm just like thinking, if I've got to mark a full day of Dimitri Vandenberg, I'm going to be so bored for the whole day
yeah,
because he just like he's a very good dart player, but he's boring to watch and boring to mark for when he does his little drink breaks every two darts or whatever, and you just think, come on, mate, just throw him, please. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of marking for Vandenberg when he was like on his little thing. But other than that, I didn't really dislike marking for anyone really.
Do you think his drinks break slowing the game down? Do you think it actually worked, or do you think it was a waste of time?
I think to an extent, because there was one thing that I did notice, and this was probably like 2016ish, I reckon. And I'd marked for him a few times, and this was when he was like real. Like I don't think he would have even done it on TV back then. But on the Pro Tour, he was known for slowing the game down. Like people would like talk about him slowing the game down, and it would affect people. So like he would mark, I would mark him averaging like 88 against another pro, and he'd slow the game down, and he'll win it like 6-2, and you just think, but like normally an 88 average wouldn't win that game 6-2.
Mm,
And you can tell the other guy is getting a bit annoyed in the game as well because you're like stood next to the board, you can hear what they're saying and stuff. And it's like I don't know if I should intervene and tell him to hurry up. It's not really my place to do that. So you would notice it, but I did always notice that the only person he couldn't get over was Van Gerwen. Van Gerwen always just managed to just like deal with him slowing down and the games that he was playing. Every single time I marked for Van Gerwen and Vandenberg, it was always Van Gerwen win. And I actually did a video the other day, which was like weird darts records and stuff. And Van Gerwen is 20-1 over Vandenberg, which kind of like backs it up a little bit.
yeah,
In the 21 games played, Van Gerwen's won 20 of them, which even for Van Gerwen, that's a lot against Vandenberg.
yeah,
So he's just always had his number.
that's yeah, and that's why he's probably one of the best of all time because no matter what's in front of him,
Yeah.
he'll go and beat him. So going back to what you mentioned there, like about slowing the game down, and you didn't know whether it was your place to sort of step in. Is there any ruling on, and is there anything that you can do as a referee to like not speed the game up, but when when the players, I understand gamesmanship and trying to get in the head, and that's part of the game to a certain extent. But is there a line where you can go, look, you just holding the game up now, you're taking the mick, really, you need to get a move. Can you do that as a referee? Is there any rules you can enforce? Not just that, is there any particular rules as darts players that we don't know about that referees can enforce?
There's not a great deal, no. The difference is you've got your pro tour referees who, to be completely honest, are kind of like seen by a few of the players as like a bit of a arse licker, to be honest. Like they're not they're voluntary marking, and a lot like I had a few players who kind of like this never really understood why. Like, why would you bother coming and voluntary marking for us? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I even had one player call me an arse licker because I was a referee. I was refereeing his game. I was like, well, what's it matter?
yeah,
I enjoy it. What's it matter? Um, but yeah, so I think there's a difference between like a pro tour level marker and the respect you get from that, and then like a TV caller. Like, people aren't going to answer back to Russ
yeah,
Bray, but they will happily answer back to like someone who does the floor tournaments. So it's kind of like, I'm sure there are rules and stuff, and there's things that you can do as a referee. But to be completely honest, unless it's affecting the game massively, you just kind of just don't bother because it's not worth it
yeah,
sometimes, if that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. The, the
Yeah.
the only rule I've ever seen, and it's happened a few times really, but happened the other day in the World Cup was when Gary Anderson stepped over the hockey when he threw his dart. And it was called a think the dart didn't count. But other than that, I've never really seen any rules or anything like that. Because generally darts is pretty straightforward. It's either in or it's not. That's the end of it, isn't it, really. So um,
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like when you're a TV marker, they'll have a earpiece. They'll have another referee watching what's happening, like with where their feet are and stuff.
oh really?
And the other referee will just say that last dart doesn't count, and then the referee on TV or on stage can relay that information. Whereas when you're a Pro Tour marker, you can't see enough of it.
Yeah,
Like, your peripherals aren't good enough, and then they're just going to call you out on it and say, well, you can't see it, so how are you making that decision? That's not your decision to make. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's like one of them.
I did wonder that when I saw it the other day. I was thinking, how has he seen that? Because obviously, when I've marked games, you can't see the thrower. You look at the board, and I did wonder. So
Yeah, that's how.
yeah, I never really realised that. So makes sense now. You think
Yeah,
about
there'll
it.
be there'll be like a hard camera just facing the player, that the referee, there'll be another referee. It will be one of the other callers or one of the other like board stage
Yeah.
people, and they will just watch that and relay information to the one who's calling on TV if they need any if they feel like that information is needed.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely, yeah, that makes more sense now. Now I think about it logically. Is there any plans of you to ever go back into refereeing, or is that done now? Is that all done for you?
No, that's definitely done.
Yeah,
I've had my time as a referee, and to be honest, like the thing was, I made the YouTube channel and stuff like over a year after I finished refereeing, and yeah, I don't because I wouldn't say like it exposed secrets and stuff, but I would talk about the ins and outs of things that happen in darts and how it works and stuff to people who just didn't have a clue.
yeah,
Like if you just watch darts at Christmas, there'll be a lot of information that I know that you don't know that I'd like to say.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I feel like some people somewhere weren't very happy that
yeah,
I was exposing secrets or
yeah,
secrets. They're not secrets, are they?
yeah. You
I think
you
most people know what happens in darts.
you were the first person I saw around darts, especially on YouTube, that was to speak about the drinking in darts because it's sort of not really talked about at all. And you were the
No,
first thing I
it just
saw
gets
talk about.
ignored all
Yeah,
the time, and I understand why it gets ignored, but it just annoys me when they say it doesn't happen
yeah,
because well, 120 people out of 128 are pissed at 11 in the morning.
yeah, yeah. And
Why are you gonna like just say it happens in moderation or something?
yeah,
Like if you're gonna lie, at least make it believable.
yeah, yeah. Because I'm the same as you. I've spoken before on TikTok and stuff, and the amount of people that didn't realise the players were drinking and what have you is which at the end of the day it's a pub game, isn't it? People that have got to that level generally have drink down the pub, drinking, playing darts in the pub in the local league, whatever county, whatever, and they've gone through the ranks drinking. So they're not going to become a pro and then stop drinking because um, that's what they're used to. Really, it's just part of the game. Unfortunately, I understand why they want to sort
Yeah,
of hide it because it's an elite sport, but at the end of the day, it's what it is, isn't it? You can't. It's a pub game, and that's all there is to it.
yeah,
So going on to obviously we've spoke about your darts refereeing, which I could talk about all day because I actually love that. I'm like you, I'm a bit of a darts perv. I love all that sort of stuff, the ins and outs of it. But going forward, then, so you're now full time on YouTube. So where's YouTube going for you now? What's the next steps? I know you've been posting a lot more content recently. I've noticed that you've been posting a lot more, which I've been thoroughly enjoying. But where's it going next?
So next thing for me is just I like to take inspiration from other channels and then make it darts related.
Yeah,
So I feel like that's why I've kind of like I've done all right on it because I'm a lot of people on YouTube are they're they're darts people who do YouTube, whereas I'm like a YouTuber who does darts, if
yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense. So I've kind of always appealed to like a slightly wider audience than like if you were to do darts reviews, if you unless you really want that set of darts, you're not going to watch
yeah,
darts reviews.
yeah,
But if you want to watch me throw shoot a crossbow at a dartboard, that's a bit more appealing to like a wider audience.
yeah,
So I've just got to keep coming up with ideas. I've got a really good series that I want to do. Um, I just need to find the time to do it. I've bought all the equipment to do it. I just need to find the time to do it. So hopefully there'll be some big things coming. But I just need to just keep upping my game and keep making sure that the stuff that I do is unique because that's the thing I found is when I get lazy, people catch up. Other people who do the same thing, they
yeah,
always catch up. So I need to just keep on it and just make sure that just make
yeah,
sure that I at least think in my head that I'm doing the best I can,
yeah, yeah,
whether if
absolutely.
I am or not. At least if I believe it,
Yeah,
that's all that I can ask for really.
yeah, for sure. I agree with you there in terms of the not stealing other people's content, but looking at it and making it darts related. I don't know if you ever interested in golf or follow golf or anything, but there's a guy Rick Shields. He's like the biggest golf YouTuber there is. I don't know if you know Rick, but I I
Yeah,
I want to be my goal of YouTube personally is to be the Rick Shields of darts because
yeah,
what he does is phenomenal, and it's entertaining. I used to love playing golf and all the rest of it. I stopped playing golf now, but I'll still watch your videos, even though I don't watch golf, because I just like watching the videos. They're just entertaining to watch. And if you can make your content that even non-darts fans will stick around and watch, and they're watching because it's you and not your content, then that's when I think you've mastered it. And I think the big, you look at the big YouTubers, people watch it because of the person, not necessarily what the video they're making. You get to a level, I think personally, where they could literally do a video of them doing a painting or something, and people will watch it because it's just them. It's their video,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
and it's obviously building that audience to get that far. That's a lot of hard work and time. Obviously, you're well on the way now because people know you. You've got a big following now on YouTube and stuff. So people do. I watch your videos for you now because I watch you that long. I know it's going to be a good video just because it's your video, and what you do is what you're doing. You're Jack the Darts
Oh,
referee,
I appreciate
basically.
that.
So
Thank you.
it's great. So one final thing. Anyone that's interested in getting into making YouTube, not necessarily darts, but obviously if they do want to do darts YouTube, any advice you'd give someone? I know you've mentioned about being different, but anything you'd say?
This is quite a boring one, but just start.
Yeah,
Like, it doesn't matter what you have. If you've got a phone that films and records audio, just start.
yeah,
You're gonna be crap when you start.
yeah,
Everyone is. No one's good straight away.
yeah,
You're gonna suck. Your videos are gonna be rubbish. You're gonna look back in 5 years and you're gonna be like, "That's so cringe." But in 5 years' time, you might have a million subscribers,
yeah,
and yeah, the cringe was worth it.
yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, just start doing stuff.
Yeah,
Whether it's filming little TikToks like vertical videos or trying to edit full length videos or just whatever.
yeah,
Just start doing it.
yeah.
That's all I can say.
For sure, definitely, definitely. I think as well. I think the first few videos are always really hard. Not that my channel is, my channel is very, 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 very small. I'm still very, very new to it. But I think when I first started, I was similar to you. I was like, this is a bit weird. Like, but then
Mm,
I was lucky enough to get monetized fairly quickly. Not that I make much money from YouTube, but now when people say, "Oh, this is a bit embarrassing," I'm like, "Well, I'm getting paid to do it, so it's all right." And it makes it sort of justifies it, and it's not hard. It takes a lot of work, obviously, but realistically, what you've got to do to get monetized on YouTube is not a massive amount, really. So, not that everyone should be in
yeah,
it for the money, should be doing it because I think you enjoy it, and I enjoy doing it. You do as well. But,
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
yeah, I agree with you. Just do it, and then see what works. And you're gonna have videos that are gonna get no views. You're gonna have videos that get quite a few views, and it's just filtering out the rubbish and going from there.
yeah. And you just learn, like you just learn what works. Like there's been some videos I've uploaded, and I think this is going to be like 100,000 views. It's going to be a banger video, and then it does like half the views that even a bad video would do. It's like a 10 out of 10. It's like the worst video I've uploaded in the last 2 weeks,
Yeah,
and it does like it's on like sitting on like 8,000 views, which like for me that's a bit on the low side. Like to be fair, this time of year all my videos do about that, but it was a video that I just like in my head I'd bigged up to be this like massive video, and it just sucked.
yeah,
And then you learn, you sort of like you watch it back again, and you're like, okay, and then you look at the analytics, and it's like, well, the audience mostly stopped watching at this point. What happened at this point, and then it's just you just watch it back, and it's like it's a minute of me throwing darts and just
yeah,
chatting, and you just think, okay, in the future, I won't just aimlessly chuck darts and chat in the video because clearly people don't want to watch that. And then
yeah,
your next video you do better, and you just kind of like learn from it. And you
yeah,
can like YouTube has all the information right there in front of you to tell you why this video didn't do well and this video did do well. You just got to kind of work out how to find the information, and you've got to work out like how to fix it for next time, and you just get better and better.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's just learning and just keep doing it until you find something that works and fits. That's what I'm trying to do right now, as literally as we speak, filming this podcast right now. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's good advice even for me, I think. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there, Jack. I'm going to see you on Saturday because you're at the pro, aren't you?
yeah.
Yeah,
I am. Are you playing in it?
yeah. I'll be there.
You're playing. Okay,
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait.
yeah. I'm nervous already thinking about it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I get nervous down the pub playing in front of 10 people. So
yeah.
with
I,
a
I,
big
was- I
crowd there,
used to. I used to be a really nervous player, but I
yeah,
just don't care anymore. I
yeah,
don't. I don't know what's happened. I almost want to be nervous because then I feel like I care,
yeah,
but I just don't have any nerves anymore. I just
yeah,
don't care.
yeah. That's
What?
crazy.
Which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, to be honest.
I think it's good in terms you probably play better darts, but also I
Yeah,
think nerves are sometimes good. But it depends. I think there's a fine line. You need that little bit of a buzz, but you don't want to be
yeah, definitely.
absolutely shaking. So yeah, so I'll see you there. If you haven't already seen, there's a promo on this Saturday. Actually, I think by the time this goes out, you'll have missed it, but it'll all be over TikTok, and I'll make a YouTube video about it, and I'm sure Jack's making a video about it as well. So
Yeah, I will be as well.
you'll
Yeah.
you'll see that, and we'll see it there. So we mentioned at the start, but Jack, where can people find you on social media?
I'm at the Darts Referee on everything pretty much. I don't think there's many that I'm not on. There might be not. There might be the ones that I don't post on a great deal, but I'm on there somewhere.
Perfect.
So yeah, at the Darts Referee.
I'll tag all your socials below anyway, so people can go and follow you on there as well.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to have a chat with me. I could sit and talk to you all day about darts and refereeing and YouTube. I say you love it. So even if no one watches this, I've had a good time anyway. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm glad, mate. I'm glad.
it's great. So yeah, we'll call it a day there. Thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.
Cheers.